April 5th will go down as one of the most politically charged days in recent American history. Across all 50 states, and even in cities across Europe, hundreds of thousands of Americans took to the streets for what has become the largest single-day protest since President Donald Trump returned to office for his second term. This wasn't just a protest. It was a declaration of resistance. Branded the hands-off movement, this day of mass mobilization brought together citizens from every walk of life to push back against what many see as a dangerous shift in U.S. democracy, economy, and global standing. The scale of the demonstrations was unprecedented. Over 1,000 protests were held, covering every U.S. state and several foreign capitals including London, Berlin, and Paris. In Washington, D.C., demonstrators gathered on the National Mall, holding signs reading, "Hands off our rights, this is what democracy looks like, and resist tariff tyranny." In Houston, crowds defied a tornado warning to make their voices heard. In New York, Fifth Avenue was gridlocked, not by traffic, but by a sea of protesters demanding justice. What united them? A profound sense of urgency. Protesters rallied against a sweeping range of grievances, from Trump's aggressive trade policies and massive tariffs, to his rollback of civil rights, to concerns over Elon Musk's role in government efficiency reforms that many claim prioritize billionaires over working Americans. Why now? The trigger point. While frustration with Trump's administration has been simmering since his re-election, it was the newly enacted reciprocal tariffs that ignited this nationwide firestorm. Market instability followed almost immediately. The S&P 500 dropped 5% within 48 hours, and global supply chains trembled as retaliatory threats from trading partners loomed. For many Americans, the idea of America First had turned into Americans Last. Everyday citizens began to see the real-world consequences of these economic shifts in their grocery bills, in layoffs, in local businesses struggling to manage rising costs. Take a look at the math. A 15% tariff on Chinese electronics increased retail prices on goods like laptops and smartphones by an average of 9%. Grocery costs jumped in several states due to Canadian agricultural tariffs being mirrored back, leading to increased prices on dairy, poultry, and produce. A small Ohio auto parts factory laid off 130 workers after losing a major European client due to new U.S. export taxes. Voices from the ground. Each protest site had its own energy, but the emotional undercurrent was the same: fear for the future and fury over government overreach. Here are just a few of the voices from across the country. Protester 1, "I feel horrible. Immigrants are getting deported, trans people are being targeted, prices are rising, and all Trump cares about is scoring political points. We're here to say enough." Protester 2, "I'm disabled. I rely on Medicare and Medicaid, and now I feel like a burden instead of a citizen. That's why I'm here." Protester 3, "Even a tornado couldn't stop us. That's how serious this is." Protester 4, "We're losing democracy bit by bit. This is not just about tariffs, this is about authoritarianism." What makes the hands-off movement particularly notable is the breadth of its coalition. This isn't just a left-wing outcry, it's a confluence of groups typically siloed in American political life. Civil rights advocates fighting voter suppression, climate activists opposing energy deregulation, LGBTQ+ organizations pushing back against anti-trans rhetoric, labor unions condemning job losses due to erratic economic policy, veterans demanding stability and truth from leadership. The movement even attracted moderate conservatives and Trump-voting independents disillusioned by the economic fallout. Many were not necessarily pro-Democrat, they were simply anti-chaos. Another key lightning rod is Elon Musk, whose Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, has become a major target of criticism. While Musk insists his policies are about trimming government bloat, critics say DOGE represents a billionaire-driven attack on essential services, from education to disability programs. Protesters carried signs saying "Hands off my healthcare, fire DOGE, and no billionaires in government." Musk, appearing on Fox News that same day, denied the allegations, but his presence in Trump's inner circle continues to inflame tensions. Though primarily American, the protests also had international ripples. In London, Americans abroad held hands outside the US Embassy. In Berlin, demonstrators carried signs in German and English, warning that US instability was endangering the West. In Paris, American expats waved Ukrainian and Palestinian flags, connecting Trump's economic nationalism to broader geopolitical crises. Will this movement last? That's the million-dollar question. According to organizers, April 5th was intended as a one-day event. But as with the Black Lives Matter protests of 2020, there is precedent for these moments evolving into larger, sustained movements. The spark is there, but will it catch? Analyst William Glucroft notes the importance of timing. These grievances didn't appear overnight. They've existed for years. But it was Trump's tariff announcement, an economic bombshell, that pushed everything to the boiling point. Americans are waking up to the consequences. The political fallout. Trump has remained mostly silent aside from a brief comment urging Americans to hang tough. Meanwhile, the White House has not issued any major statements addressing the protests. The Republican Party has also remained quiet, likely wary of fueling further unrest. Democrats, on the other hand, face a complicated challenge. While many of the protesters align with democratic values, there is lingering resentment over the party's failure to stop Trump's rise or present a compelling alternative. One protester put it bluntly, "Protester, VO, we're here because Trump's terrifying, but we're also here because Democrats let it happen." Final thoughts. Is this the breaking point? April 5th marked a turning point. Whether it's the beginning of a new era of civic engagement or just a fleeting catharsis remains to be seen. But what's undeniable is this. Americans across all 50 states and the globe made their message clear. Hands off our democracy, hands off our rights, hands off our future. In the days and weeks to come, we'll learn whether this was a scream into the void or the first shot in a revolution to take back the American dream.